Hello!
Welcome back
to Sewing Bee Week 5.
And we have a full house today.
Yeah.
We have everybody.
So we've been chatting for the last 4 weeks about the sewing bee, if you've been following along, and we're now up to week 5, and it was reduce, reuse and recycle week.
Yes, rather awesome. I'm a big fan of this, so I am very excited about it.
And also, look what I'm in.
He made... No,
We've got to talk
come
about
on.
it now.
It's,
We
it's
can't-
his first time making a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I think it is.
So the challenge was set last week from you, Ting, wasn't it? To make my own t-shirt.
Yeah. And it was with
Out of
jersey
bloody
as well.
jersey.
Yeah. So jersey's not necessarily the easiest to start with because it's a bit slippy.
Yeah, I didn't have problems too much with the slipping because I did pin it. That was the ball ache, was just pinning it.
Because you don't like to pin anything.
No.
But with dressmaking, you have to
pin
pin.
everything.
Even I know that, and I'm a knitter.
But you gave me a good tutorial from the crafty gentleman. So hello Mike, and thank you for your tutorial, which was great. All was quite straightforward till I got to this point here, the neck. That was very hard.
And a wee bit.
Yeah.
Just for you.
So, but it was to choose. You could choose your own T-shirt and draw around that. So I chose my T-shirt, but I think I might have sort of forgot the seam allowance on the sleeves, so they're a bit short.
That's okay. Clearly, that was the effect you're going for.
But
I was
the
going
neck,
to say,
on purpose.
the neck was interesting to do. My first, I think the first attempt is in the bin.
Yes, he did. We did get pictures of him having a tantrum where it had been thrown on,
On
the
the
floor.
floor.
At least the sewing machine wasn't on the floor too.
No.
You know, that's the important bit.
Because they obviously advised to pull, because obviously the neck band has to be shorter than the actual body, so when it's sewn down it then flips upwards. But it also advised whilst you're sewing to stretch it a little bit, but I just
you seem to stretch the top and not the bottom, and then
Then I got a nice sort of pleat effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it was a leotard.
bit of tuck.
But yes, look, I think it's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I've got.
don't look too close.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
few
nice from a
threads.
distance.
What
few
was it?
threads.
A Monet.
I think the hardest or the most frustrating part was actually the hemming. So the turning over of the sleeve and at the bottom. Because a lot of the current T-shirts that I wear seem to have this raggedy effect where there's another layer of jersey.
Yeah, attached so it kind of
Yeah,
hides
so it
the
looks
stitching.
like it's frayed. So maybe that's something I try next time.
Yeah.
If there is a next time.
Well, speaking of that, you'll have to watch the next Woolly Wednesday because we have exciting plans ahead. So you can find out about that soon. I am excited and it's going to happen. Regardless if
Yeah.
anybody else wants to,
Does
it's
it
going to
fit
happen.
in with the reuse, recycle?
Quite possibly. It depends on which option you choose. So
Ooh.
we have exciting plans. You can watch that.
Yeah. So let's go back to Sewing Bee. Reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes. So the first one was the Pussy Bow Blouse. Don't say that in a hurry, people. Really.
And what did you think?
Yeah, it was okay. I'm not a fan of that style of shirt.
No, I didn't
But-
understand why they went for that style of shirt. If they want to encourage younger people to sew and younger people to
Yeah.
wear what they're sewing, why not make something a little
It
bit
was,
more
yeah,
trendy?
but it was all the rage a few years ago.
Well, I was going to say, I
Few
think
years
it's.
ago.
I think
But no,
that
look,
it's.
as in, when I was working in offices, there were people all about it.
Okay.
I think it's still out there, which is
Yeah.
why, because I don't think they would choose something like that if it was
Yeah.
not that far
No.
away from
Yeah.
what was on trend.
I think, yeah, because a lot of people, when I worked in offices, I haven't worked in a standard, you have to wear office wear office in a great many years. But when I did, you had people with nice big bows and things. And I did actually
It
have
just
one.
made me think of Princess Diana and when she
Yeah,
wore that
you see,
dress
yeah.
when she was pregnant.
Yeah, well, the 80s
Yeah.
are back.
Yes.
As we
We
said.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's the skill about it, wasn't
Yes,
it?
there was
There's
some beautifully made shirts.
16 pieces all needing to, come
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and with the bias binding.
Well, and it
too,
was about
so-
reusing the shirts, so reusing the
Yeah.
placard and the buttons and the
Yeah.
whole thing. And there was some lovely, they'd chosen some lovely colour combinations that worked.
Well, I said that with Ricardo's. I was like, oh, nice colour. But he put his back in wrong.
Yeah.
That's the one I've written
Yeah.
down. It's
Oh,
like his back
my
in
word.
was the
But
wrong way
how? Until I started saying this, I mean, I I don't know about you, but I'm completely new to sewing. I do patchwork, but this is, garment-wise, first thing. Are you new to sewing? Have you?
No, I used to sew. I made all my daughters, both my daughters' clothes until they were about 5.
So you have been making
I've
stuff
made
before.
clothes
Yeah.
What about you?
I've done a fair bit.
Fair bit.
Not clothes, no.
No, but patchwork and stuff. So we're kind of new to the sewing world, and I would watch that program and think how could you sew that back to front? But then with this, I did the first thing I did was when you put the front to the back, I have to confess I didn't put right size together.
No.
I don't know what happened, but even
just
though I'm
get
reading
distracted.
the tutorial, you do.
Yeah.
So it is so easy to do.
And it is that
because you're
thing.
doing seams all the time, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Well, and it is the thing we've always said is it's against the time. If you were at
Yeah.
home, you would unpick it and you would redo it. And
Yeah.
he had 10 minutes. There was no way he was going to be able to
Yeah.
unpick it.
So I can kind of see how easy it is to make a mistake
Yeah.
like that.
I used to always mark the side that had to be, so the
Yeah.
right and wrong side.
Yeah.
I would mark whichever side I need, and mark them all.
A good idea, yeah.
Because even then, because I would make mistakes, so I used to always just check for the mark.
Which is what Juliet did with her tracksuit. Do you remember?
Yes.
Because she
right.
had fabric
She had a
that
much
was...
clever way of doing it. I used
Yeah.
to use the chalk.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, but if you're doing something white, no. But yeah, post-its and things way forward.
So that was Ricardo.
Yeah.
You what did you think of Juliet's?
Juliet, I said I liked her colours. I wrote down beautiful soft pastel
Yeah.
colours. I thought it worked really nice colour combinations, I thought.
When I was watching her, I just felt through the whole of the editing as well, she just seemed to breeze through it.
She was just calm the
Yeah.
entire. She was like, "Yep, got this, no problem." She cruised through this week.
I
Like
just
it
thought-
looked like she cruised.
I just
Yeah.
thought she was on a high level,
Yeah.
within confidence.
But this
with
is she
what
just
she was
looked
doing.
calm and together, and like that she wasn't being like, "Oh my god, I have to do all the things." So she
I
looked
got
really
the
chill.
impression that she's used to reusing old clothes to make clothes.
Yeah, quite
And she
possibly.
did
Possibly
say
for
that
her
she made
daughter.
stuff for her daughter, so
Yeah.
there's a possibility
Yeah.
that maybe she's reused stuff
Yeah.
there.
Most definitely. But I liked her. She won this week.
Now we said at the end of last session that we filmed that we were thinking Mercedes and Ricardo might be the ones to go, and clearly within this first task, Mercedes was the way they edited her, with choosing the duvet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God,
was
we
it-
love her.
she chose the duvet, but then I don't know why was the duvet there available.
Yes, if
Yeah.
it wasn't
If it
No,
wasn't
that's
to be
because they'd
chosen.
replaced all of the haberdashery, all of the fabric with recycled fabric.
So she just went for.
So garments, bed linen, curtains.
But I mean, on the
whatever.
front of that pattern, it said you must use. I think it said use 2 men's shirts plus something else. So basically, when you looked at what she'd done,
Up to
she
5
had
garments.
she had nothing that
Yeah.
was on that shopping
Yeah.
list.
And more frustratingly, so she picked something that should have been easier, and she didn't finish at all.
No.
So hers
Yeah,
was,
I mean, a
didn't
duvet
finish,
cover,
and it was
you could have
upside
just
down.
laid all of the pattern pieces on and just made it like an because
Yeah.
I assume that's why she thought I'll use a duvet cover.
Yeah, because it did have some pattern to it,
but she could work around that.
Yeah.
But then she didn't even do that with
No,
it.
God love her. She
I
really
felt that
struggled
she
this
was
week.
really out of her depth this
Yeah.
week. I really did.
And that was right from the off, though,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Right from this first
Yes.
one, we were going, "Oh yeah, she's
Yeah.
a goner." Isn't she?
Yeah, and I was really impressed. We were talking about this. Janet, her little fix for whenever she obviously budged it when she was cutting it up, and she had the wrong mismatched length with the buttons and the buttonholes, and she did the nice wee bit at the
Yeah.
bottom with the.
That was really
Well,
That was
I did
clever.
find it really funny because of course Ricardo is the only male that was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were using men's shirts. And then suddenly the women couldn't remember how to do up a
Yeah.
shirt because they needed to turn
Yeah.
it upside down.
Yeah.
Because men and women do their shirts up
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
I mean,
looking
that's
at you
a
as trying
weird habit
It's a
or
serious-
No,
tradition.
but it's history.
historical.
Yeah, but
It's
where
history.
from? Where
Because a woman would never dress herself. So a
She'd
man,
always
you
be
would put his
dressed.
own shirt on, so it's done this
Yeah.
way round.
Yeah.
But a woman would be dressed by a dresser, so it's done so a second person can do it.
I never knew
Yeah.
that.
But men
You
used
need
to
to
be
speak to the
dressed-
people up at Kentwell Hall.
Men used to be dressed as well, though.
No, they wouldn't let another man touch
Touch
them,
the
so
shirt.
they would pass them the shirt, but they would do the
Do the
shirt up
shirt
themselves.
themselves.
Whereas a woman would
Oh.
just stand there and they would, and somebody else would do it, so they're round the other way.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That has just blown my head.
Which is why, when they had to reuse this, they had to turn
Turn
it
it
up the other
upside
way, so the
down.
buttonholes
Yeah.
moved over to the other side and the buttons were on the other side.
Yeah.
And that's where Janet went wrong, because she put it upside down, and then she cut off the excess, and then
Yeah.
realised that actually she needed...
did that.
Who sewed the placard?
That was Janet.
Was it Janet?
Yeah.
Sewed it to the side, which
Yeah.
is easily doable.
When she
Yeah.
trimmed
Yeah.
it because she'd sewn it to the wrong
Yeah.
part of
Maybe
the
an
garment.
arm to a neck hole.
But that's why
Yeah.
And so it was just funny that the women were then suddenly all standing there going, I
Yes.
don't know how to,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do.
And none of them had worn a shirt either.
Yeah.
on
And
the
yet
day,
Ricardo
which is-
didn't seem to be able to help much.
But when you're asking for it, you're just like, oh, I don't really actually.
yeah.
Because
I
I'm not
never
wearing
think
one.
about
I
it.
think half the nation were probably doing this, weren't they? Thinking, where's the
Well, when I
buttons?
come
It's
to
like-
putting garments together for children, cardigans or whatever, I always have to double check the pattern to find out whether
Yeah.
it's left
Which
or
side?
right.
Yeah.
The buttonholes go on.
There you go.
And then Leah. What about Leah and the way she was?
She mismatched her front. That's the
Yes.
bit I've written about hers. But
Yeah, I wasn't.
And she didn't bother about the bottom bit either, did she?
No,
no.
It was it Leah's whose didn't hang straight.
Quite possibly. I can't remember.
I mean, either way, Leah and Mercedes were
They
on the
struggled with
rack
it.
by the end of
Yes.
the,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
challenge.
But at least
Very
Leah
much so.
used garments
Yes,
rather
But
than
she
doing
followed
colour.
the
But
instructions.
Janet's that blue and that polka dot, the sleeves was great, wasn't it? Well, what was it? Because you laughed at that when she said when we were chatting, the Queen of Classic, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the fact that she
Yeah.
crowned herself the Queen
Yeah.
of Classic.
Yeah,
But again, that's where someone like Janet, she would have made a Pussy Bow blouse the first time
time.
round.
Yeah.
And she made
Yeah.
sure that she'd ironed all of her, she'd got
Yeah.
all that, and that's what the judges commented on, that everything had
All the
been,
detail.
yeah.
Did really enjoy watching Janet in that round though, and you know
Yeah.
how they're.
And clearly, after my soapbox moment last week, the judges have listened because Janet got the recognition that she deserved.
Yeah.
This
They
time
watched
round.
the show.
They clearly
They went
tuned
back
in.
in time.
We need to check
Yeah.
see whether they're subscribing.
This was created a few months ago.
What do you mean? It wasn't filmed last week.
Nope, it's not live, people. It's not live. But yeah, it was very good. So second,
Yeah, second transformation challenge.
I
Yes.
loved that.
Good
I
idea, wasn't it?
I loved the use of tent fabric because I'm a caravanner, I'm a camper,
yeah.
and seeing tents at the end of summers just being trashed and dumped.
Hang
But
on,
that,
Jen,
hang
hang
on,
on,
that was
last
the one
week.
before.
Was
Yeah.
it?
Yes, you've been
I
watching
told-
2 episodes
Yeah.
together. This is all
Although
the fabric that's
Janet
been left
did
over.
use it because she made a reversible
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
top.
I do
So this
apologise.
is all the leftover bits.
That's
from,
right. Yes, I
Yeah.
do apologise.
This was clever again, but Janet's gilet. That was.
Oh.
I
That was it, because it was
loved
reversible. As soon as the judges
Yeah.
saw the tent fabric
Yeah.
and they had it off and round the other way.
Yes. Oh, I loved it.
But it was.
I loved it.
I mean, I loved it because that patchwork effect, that
Yes.
irregular
And
patchwork.
to be fair, that's what the judges said when they went off to do their little bit in
Yeah.
the cupboard to the camera.
Yeah.
They said, what would be the best
Yeah.
idea is to make some fabric and then lay your pattern
Yeah.
over
On
the
it.
top. And
Yeah.
there was only a couple of people that actually patchworked it
Was-
together.
Yeah,
Other
so
people
Ricardo
tried
patchworked
to
as well.
find big enough
Yeah,
bits
he
of
did.
material to use.
Yeah.
I liked Ricardo's punk style.
The
dress.
Thompson,
Yeah, I liked it, and also there was something about it I couldn't quite put my finger on that I really did. I think maybe
It was
it was
probably
the
that pop of
fluffy
yellow,
bit.
was it? Maybe.
It was a bit fluff. There was something at the
The
top.
net
wasn't
at
it?
the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The modesty net.
Oh yeah. But there was something about it. I thought it was clever, but didn't like
It
it.
didn't
There was
sit
something-
right with
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Something-
And
jarred me
see,
about it.
I felt the same a bit about Leah's as well because Leah
The
decided to
kids'
make a
dress.
children's dress. Now
Child's
she made
dress.
a good garment, but it was that thing of like everyone else had tried to patchwork things together, tried
Yeah.
to use fabric
Yeah.
from each other's. She just used the denim to make
The
a
size
small,
of the fabric.
small object based on
Yeah.
the size that was
So
there.
maybe the
as
skill
opposed
set
to
is-
trying to make a full
Yeah.
blouse skirt.
I
Yeah,
think
with
she's
all the
coming
patchwork.
to the end of her skill set
Yeah.
for the programme.
Yeah.
Juliet's
And Mercedes was the
halter
dress
neck.
with the front.
What do you
Juliet's
think?
halter
The
neck.
denim. Yeah.
denim.
What did you think of that?
I like the skirt.
Skirt and
the
tube.
The top didn't work for me. The top half. I like the bottom where she'd used all the different fabric.
It reminded
Yeah.
me of her
Yes. The one that-
tailored piece a few weeks
Yeah,
previous.
yeah, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
See, I did, so I was like,
No, I didn't like that one, but I liked the one this week.
Now,
yeah, I like the skirt, but wasn't fussed on the top as well. I
Yeah.
wrote down wasn't fussed on the top.
Yeah.
what about
So-
Jen's patchwork skirt? Because it did seem.
I
You know,
kind
it
of
was-
liked it. I agree though. If they had exaggerated, if she had have exaggerated that difference in height,
Yeah.
totally
Yes.
could have got away with it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I wonder if she was trying to do that, but maybe she didn't have enough material, so she could have maybe added another bit of
Yeah.
material to the bottom to demonstrate it was supposed to be longer. So whether
Yeah.
the material wasn't quite long enough,
Yeah.
that particular patch. But I think that's what she was going for. It just wasn't executed as well as they would have liked to, for them to be like, oh yes, it's meant to be different. But I liked it. I was like, I would totally wear that.
Yeah, I
skirt.
think it looked great. Yeah.
You mean you wouldn't wear it?
No.
Why not?
But did you not think there was, whilst we were watching this second challenge, that Jen was very different from previous weeks?
She
Oh,
wasn't
you
on
mean
her
your
game.
favourite Jen, who
Indeed.
you've said all the way from the
Yeah.
start
Is going to
that you're
win.
going to
Yeah.
back
Oh,
to
she
win?
came across differently.
No, she just was having a bad week.
Yeah.
It happens to the best of
Yeah.
us.
Well, she's been done so well so far.
And she
I
looked
suppose.
more flustered this week.
Yeah.
That's what I felt.
I was
yeah.
just wondering, being the joys of being female, we have certain weeks where we're not
Not
ourselves.
ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
yeah,
It could
that's
also
true.
be the fact that it was those types of it's very different when you're presented with that reusing as opposed to a lovely bolt of new
What's-
fabric.
When you say that,
where you
I
can
follow
put a
her on
pattern.
Instagram. No, she's quite inventive with her use of fabric.
But
She's
wasn't
got
it
herself
her
together
reaction when she walked in and said, wasn't it she who said, "Oh my word, what's happened to all the fabric?"
Oh right,
What-
so
I'm
she
sure it was Jen that
Out
said
of
that
her
when she walked
comfort
in.
zone.
So it might well have been out of her comfort zone
Yeah.
this week.
And then obviously
Yeah.
we had Mercedes doing her black and white classy number.
I did not like
I
her.
didn't like it
at
either.
all.
I think it was
had
quite
that
clear
weird
that
flump at
she
the
was
back.
going to probably
Yeah.
be in trouble, wasn't
Yeah.
it? From
Yeah.
that point.
I was
Yeah.
like, dress with frill, not a fan.
Mm.
I was really not a fan.
No, it didn't work at all for me. There was no
No.
cohesion in
It
it.
was
No.
really odd. It was really abstract. It wasn't. It wouldn't be even something you'd see in the catwalk. It was just a bit like, what have you done here? It's like she's rolled around in some fabric and pinned it in place.
What do you think she was
So-
thinking of at that time? She was obviously thinking
She's
the
probably
pressure
thinking,
of-
what the hell am I going to make with all this fabric?
Well, especially because she'd had a bad run in the first one.
Yeah.
I reckon if you're bad with the first one,
Oh, it's gone.
it goes
It,
downhill.
it,
Yeah,
yeah, it
struggle.
affects
It
you
knocks
because
your
you've already
confidence.
kind of gone, oh, I've messed
Yeah.
that one up. I can't afford to mess this one up. Oh, now I'm messing this one up as well.
Do we know how this is filmed? Because I know in
with a camera.
I know in Bake Off they don't do it in the order that. That's
They
what
do.
I'm
No,
saying.
it is done in order.
So
they did the
this
is-
first two
Yeah.
challenges one day and the
They
second
do.
challenge.
Because I
on
know
the
on
second
Bake Off
day.
they do it the
It's
other
the
way
same
around. don't they?
format.
No, yeah, but this one it is definitely because. Although in saying that, I've seen some of them coming back in the same clothes for the second
No,
day.
well, I'm not getting into this on camera. I've
But,
had this
yeah.
argument with other people.
Yeah.
No, they do it in the same, but they keep the same clothes on
Yeah.
so that
So-
they can edit across the 2 days.
Yeah.
so they
Makes
can
easy.
use various cutouts.
Yeah.
I see what
So they
they're
can do
doing.
the cutaways and they're wearing the
Yeah.
same clothes. So it gives them more
Consistency.
to do. So, but they do the challenges in the same order. They do
Yeah.
the 2
You want to make
on
sure
the same
you've got
day,
really good deodorant.
and then they
people.
do the proper pattern come on the second day.
Uh-huh. Yeah, they definitely. I was going to say they need to be having good deodorant because that is warm in there.
Oh, well, you notice it certainly with Bake Off when they're all hot and sweaty. It must be a nightmare, isn't it?
Yes.
Especially in the summer, because that was that. Yeah,
Yeah.
filmed then, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
The Bake Off is, I think this was filmed around this sort of time last year.
Okay.
Mm.
God, was it that long ago? That's a long while to keep a secret.
Well, there
isn't
wasn't any snow on the ground
No.
because it was about.
Oh
this
no,
time
everything was a
last
bit
year.
later, wasn't it? Yeah, so perhaps
Yeah.
it was April time last
Yeah.
year.
'Cause we did have snow last year around this
it?
time.
And
The third one,
Janet obviously won that, didn't she?
Yep.
Janet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I loved it.
yes,
Totally would.
yeah.
I'd be tempted to do that for myself.
So the made to measure, the day dress
Oh, I loved
from
Ricardo's.
upholstery fabric. Yeah.
Who
So
did
the
you
curtains,
loved Ricardo's. Oh, it was so classic and so
Yes,
chic.
I did.
that pale
That's-
blue.
And
Yeah.
it suited
No
the fabric.
Lederhosen,
No.
no Julie Andrews, no.
But I reckon if he had nailed that collar,
Yeah,
because
But
that was
again,
the only
it's
thing they
time.
pulled him on.
and it's time again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I'm
it's-
sure
you're-
he would have unpicked that and done it
Yeah,
again
because
at
it was.
home.
Well, I think it wasn't sitting quite right around
Yeah.
the dress, this area, so
Yeah.
something wasn't sitting right.
Patrick seemed
So
to
it
really
pulled
like
it
it,
a wee
didn't
bit.
he?
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
it was a combination.
fabulous.
It was a brilliant design and it was a brilliant fabric that he'd
Yeah.
found to do
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
That,
big
it
time.
just complemented it perfectly.
Yeah.
It wasn't the thick old curtain,
No.
that
No.
lovely
Yeah.
curtain fabric that he'd found just suited that.
I
as
really
well.
think he should have won it myself.
I know, I was a bit annoyed.
Mm.
Yeah. Because that
Yeah.
is just so much detail and so nicely done, and the silhouette of it was stunning.
Stunning.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would wear that myself quite happily.
I think a lot of people would have.
Yeah.
It was very well done.
Beautiful.
Mm.
It reminded me of like it is
And
obviously
it didn't
60s.
look like a curtain. I think with some of the others you could still go. "Mm."
Yeah,
Have you made that out of a pair of curtains?
pretty much.
Although I will give her a due. I loved Mercedes fabric.
Oh
I
yeah,
loved
Which
it.
Yeah.
was
And I
Mercedes.
thought she did the
Absolutely
bubble
loved
skirt.
it.
very
Oh
modern.
yes,
Would it
I
look
remember
modern?
now.
Yeah.
She
The
wrote-
abstract
she likened
drawing.
it
I also
to-
loved
is that
her
the one
dress.
that-
Yeah,
that's
I
likened
know, and I
to,
thought she'd done reasonably well.
Yeah, I thought that was the best garment she'd done the whole
Space.
time. Yes,
Sputnik.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I loved it. It was so
Yeah.
fun and so fresh
Yeah.
and something you happily wear spring, summer.
And I know she'd struggled the previous day, and okay,
Yeah.
they said that it was a bit too long in the body, it needed to be fitted a bit better. I mean,
That's something
I
you could
suppose
be
we
just-
are halfway through the competition. It's like, how
Hang
do
on a
you
minute.
then
I thought
punish
bubble,
her for that?
I thought bubble skirts did hang from the hip.
No,
No, but
No.
she'd gone too long in the body, so it,
it was
just
too
a
long in
little-
the body, so
Okay.
it was just sitting right there, whereas
But
it
that's
should
where I
sit.
thought,
No, it sits at the bottom of your waist.
oh, okay.
So
that
just as
shows
your
you how
dip-
much I know about
Because
fashion.
it should come
I
out
have
of
no
your
clue.
waist. It
Ah,
shouldn't
okay.
be not right on your waist. It should be
Okay.
coming out. So it's
Yeah.
got that
I'm
nice
sure
sort of
someone will
tulip.
tell us anyway in the comments.
Well, if I was fitting it, that's how I would do it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it comes
I
from
just
your
felt
waist.
that they punished her. You know, that she left. I mean, she
Unfairly.
struggled with the other two. She
Yeah.
did do reasonably well with
Mm.
it.
I thought she did really well
Yeah.
because was it so
There was
Leah?
only a bit of pattern
Whereas
and
Leah
mismatch,
had
yeah.
struggled a bit, but because they hadn't edited Leah that much with the struggle,
Yeah.
that when she then produced this, because she was the one who couldn't do all the pleats even
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
That's
It's
it. She
like,
meant,
"Ugh, if you could do in pleats, get yourself a
yourself a
ruler
ruler."
and
Yeah.
and
Do it
make sure
properly.
they're done properly.
but she matched her stripes.
I love the fabric though. I love the
She
colour.
matched all her stripes,
She
and we were
did,
talking about that.
but they were
Most
massive
of her stripes.
Yeah.
Most
They
of
weren't
her-
lots.
Yeah, they
no,
weren't.
no,
There
there
was a
was
couple
there
of
was
fine
tiny little
ones.
stripes.
yes,
weren't
but
they?
she had how many panels on the top? She had what, 6 panels,
Yeah.
and all of the stripes matched, like
Yeah.
all of them.
hmm
And then she
But-
also had the skirt, and the only thing she did wrong
It's just that
was
middle bit,
the
isn't it?
pleats.
Yeah.
Whereas your woman had the long waist, and her 2 previous where she hadn't finished and she hadn't done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I mean, it was always going to be difficult to call,
Yeah.
Mm.
They both.
but it was
struggled
one of
this
those
week,
ones
but-
where I thought, oh yeah, they're focused on Mercedes, and then she's actually used a really nice fabric.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
dress, there was a tiny fitting issue there. There was nothing really wrong
Yeah.
anywhere else.
But you could say
And
the
I thought,
same.
oh, they've edited it to make us all think she's going to leave and they're going to send home Leah.
Yeah.
And then they didn't. They sent
Yeah.
Mercedes
Okay.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that conversation, didn't
Yeah.
we, actually?
Yeah.
So out of it, I think
What did
Mercedes
you
only
think
had
of
one
the
gate.
dress, the garment that won this week?
Oh, that was Juliet's, wasn't
Juliet.
And
Yeah,
her
I didn't
side
like it.
boob.
Yeah.
I didn't
To be
like
fair,
it.
no, I thought it's a nice modern dress, and I know lots of, like, if they're talking younger generations, definitely wear it. I am not
Yeah.
comfortable having the side boob out. I like to wear a bra, thanks, but I don't like the side boob, and I don't think it was tailored right. I think it
No.
should have come back a wee
it? It
bit
did
more.
just look like a flap of fabric that had been pulled
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it was so square and tight
yeah.
corners
Yeah,
that just seemed to come down and then wasn't fitted
yeah, because it was
properly
like
here.
almost diagonally across. It's like if you sneeze,
Yeah.
pet, or if you twist around, you're
Yeah.
going to have a boob on the loose. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
So-
it's not something I would wear.
No.
I'm certainly
But
not
I-
got the figure to carry it
No.
to start.
But I do know.
I don't like boobs out at all.
I don't think many people like a boob
No.
out
But
at
if
a
you
social
had-
The neck
occasion.
curtain over the top, though.
I thought it was cleverly done, to be honest, and
Cleverly
it
done,
did
yeah.
have that nice pop of blue, so it was really summery and very spring and very, fresh.
Yeah.
So and I liked the high low. So if she had tailored it a bit better, I think
Yeah.
it would have
Do
been
you
better.
think it should have got garment of the week?
Oh
No.
no, Ricardo.
God, definitely not.
Ricardo should have
Yeah,
won it
yeah,
hands down.
Ricardo should have done on that, but I also think that
Well,
Janet
should have got it. for the
Gilet,
reversible.
they,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
very good. I know they tend to choose
Yeah. I
garment
wonder
of the
how
week
much
from
of
the
a-
made to measure.
A
but
discussion
Yeah.
Esme and Patrick had over that. How much was an argument, maybe? You never know,
What?
do you? You don't
Oh,
know
right,
how much
over-
of an argument
I thought you
over.
said like you had with him, and I was like, it's
No.
Patrick, and we don't know
No,
about
how
it.
much they were debating, who's
Yeah.
going to get
Yeah.
it, who's going to get it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Do they look back over who's
Oh,
got
and
garment
her
of the week
Jen,
before?
we were talking about having a bad week.
Yeah.
Her garment, her
Yeah.
her
Mm.
tailored. So it didn't have the piping,
supposed to
didn't
put the
have the
piping in.
embroidery. So it had like 2 or
But to
3
be
flowers
fair,
of
if you'd
embroidery.
have turned around and said to me, "Oh, I'm going to do that and I'm going to embroider the flowers," I'd have gone, "Well, you're not going to be able time to do that."
Indeed.
I
Yeah.
don't understand where she felt she had the time
No.
to not only put that piping in, which she didn't do, but then to embroider
Embroider all the
all the way
flowers.
round and do the flowers there. So, that
Yeah.
was.
Indeed.
I think it was a bit over ambitious,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
and then it came back to bite her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it didn't
Yeah,
execute
you have a
at
brand,
all.
yeah.
And we've got, and Janet as well, because hers didn't work quite as well.
Stuart C.
So she had the gapping on the side.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hers
Yeah.
was the 50s dress.
Yes. But again, that was a tiny.
Yeah, tiny issue. But I didn't like the cut. I don't think it was sitting right as well. So
No.
say we were talking about Stuart's t-shirt and the way it kind of cuts there.
Yeah.
It wasn't cut right.
No.
So it was
I
just
think-
like,
I think-
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
if she'd
I
have
think
needed
Ricardo
to
was
stretch, it
wrong.
would have
Yeah.
split.
yeah.
Ricardo was robbed for that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
completely. Oh, his dress was fabulous.
And I think, for them to comment on the side boob and a couple of things,
Yeah.
I thought that was enough
Yeah.
to make that not. I didn't even think of that as a potential garment of the week.
No.
Because I thought
the
it
gilet would have
looked
got
too
it.
simple
Personally.
and the comments they made.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was torn between. No, the gilet was fabulous, but that dress, just when I seen it, I was like, oh yes, please. That was like one of that. I was like, oh yes, that has to win.
Because he was the one that had used the vintage pattern as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had found the pattern and he'd found the fabric, all of them in a charity shop.
Yeah.
So he big full on recycle. Whereas Juliet's was nice, but it was really kind of simple by comparison. You know what I mean? It felt it was quite simple by comparison. So yes.
But it got Garment of the Week.
Yeah.
And Mercedes went home.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Mercedes
the right
was
person.
ready to go home.
Yeah.
Yes.
I quite liked her as a character, as a person on the show. But yeah, I think it was...
There comes a point when actually
it must
it's
be
the
exhausting.
skill.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what it must be like to be in that intense situation.
I think
exhausting.
What we were talking about last week, possibly the week before as well. I don't think Leah has got much left in the tank.
Yeah, we say that, but then we said that the last time, and she pulled out some good.
She did, but then, but there's always something, and like this week, there was always something with each one.
Yeah.
And she does get kind of stressy.
Yeah.
I think looking at who's left,
I still think Jen has it in her if she
I think
settles
Juliet
again.
does.
Juliet, yes, she's come back because I was unsure about
or
Juliet.
are they just setting her up for a fall? She's been swimming along.
Juliet or Jen?
Juliet.
I don't know. I
don't know. She had a bad week the other week, didn't she?
The first week.
But that's what I mean. Sometimes we all have a bad week.
Yeah, but the first week I couldn't stand Ricardo, and now he seems to have calmed down and got into it.
Yeah.
And yet, with Jen, she came in and was brilliant right from the start.
She's been consistently good. This is the first week she's had a rocky week.
But is that because she's now just reached her?
No, I just think she's having a bad week.
I can't remember what they said next week is.
Next week is...
We had this trouble
What is next
last
week?
week trying to remember.
Was it Suits? I thought it was Suits.
Suits.
Quite
Taylor,
possibly.
Is it? Tailoring.
Yeah.
Taylor. Yes, is it the male models? Do I vaguely remember seeing the male models at the end?
Or are you just wishing it's the male models?
We're in week 3, I think.
Yeah.
No, they
Come back.
Yes, come in.
You haven't got your customers have gone now.
So, yes, he had to go off and see a customer. But that is us for this week. Aside from that, I've just realised we're flashing batteries.
Oh, are we?
Okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's the only thing we're flashing.
side
No flashing side. No
side
side
boobs.
boobs. But yeah, it was a good one this week. Really
Yeah,
enjoyed
I
it.
really enjoyed it this week.
So, yeah.
And it's made me, and I'm now tempted to get my sewing machine out. That my husband bought me for my birthday in November last year. That I haven't used. But also I've been tempted because I've had my proper dressmaking scissors sharpened today.
Oh, you see.
So.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks a million for watching. And to
Yeah.
all the new people and the people that have come over
from Fibre Hustle.
Yes.
Though I don't know
Guys,
whether
Rob-
they're watching this or whether they're watching
And-
Woolly
Well, someone's
Wednesdays.
watching
this.
Yeah, this is true.
Either way.
Yeah.
Really
thank you
nice to
very
have you
much.
over. We'll say thank you
Yeah.
on the other one as well.
Yeah, indeed.
But yes. So,
Susie, next. Yeah, we'll be next week.
We'll be back with another Woolly Wednesday
Yeah.
soon. And another one of these, obviously, after as well.
I won't be here next week.
Rude.
Oh, dear.
Rude.
I'm going away again.
It's like you have a life of your own.
I do.
But yes, thanks a million
thanks for watching, everyone.
See you in the next
See
one.
you,
Bye.
bye.
Bye.